worries.
All right, we're going to roll straight into questions. We'll get as many questions as we can during our allotted time. And to kick us off for questions today, we are going to go to Heather Williams. Go ahead, Heather.
Hey, Christopher, I'm just wondering what the transition's been like. I know you were with Gibbs, but just getting back in them with the Cup Series, what's the transition been like?
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to be able to get transitioning back to the Cup side of JGR. I've spent a little bit of time in the Cup building throughout my Xfinity days, but for the most part, it's all new to me. So a lot of the styles are similar from LFR to JGR, but it's just a completely new group of people, and it's fun to be able to work with my car chief, Chris Sherwood, again. He was my car chief on the Xfinity side, and then he's actually on this 20 group too. So between him, Adam Stevens, and everyone on this 20 car, just trying to get to know everybody and build those relationships. And it's been quite the off season, and I'm excited to get going to the racetrack week in and week out.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our second question we will go to Kyle with the Napa Sports. Go ahead, Kyle.
Unmute and start video. Hi, Christopher.
Hi, Kyle.
So this year, you guys will be making your return to Sonoma. As a rookie, you didn't get to come here last year. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I guess that makes me still a rookie for Sonoma. And it's one of the racetracks that I was really excited about going to last year. I've never been there, obviously, but everyone talks about how much they enjoy it. It's a really slick road course, very challenging road course, and I've grown to like road racing. So I was looking forward to going there last year. Unfortunately, we didn't get to, but this year's, I hope we get to go, and I'm excited to see what it's all about. Road racing has definitely grown on me over the last couple of years, and Sonoma's kind of it's definitely a marquee road course across the United States. So excited to try and tackle it.
What about the fact that it's a one-day show and no practice, no qualifying either?
Yeah, that's going to be tough for me. Just trying to do a lot of simulator time, that's for sure. And but fortunately, nobody's been there in a number of years now. So I guess that kind of equals the playing field a little bit.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Dan Gelston. Go ahead, Dan. All right, Dan, can you hear us? Okay, we'll move on. We'll go to our next question from Lee Spencer. Go ahead, Lee.
Thank you, and thanks for joining us, Christopher, and happy anniversary.
Thanks, Lee.
I got to think you have Bristol circled on your calendar. Getting on dirt, being at the last great Coliseum, it's got to be up on your list of places where you think you got a legit chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Bristol's definitely a place where I should have an advantage, just having a dirt background growing up like I did. So it's going to be interesting, though. The Cup Series is full of a lot of talented race car drivers, and these guys are going to figure it out. So I think it's an afternoon race. It's a long distance race. So I don't think that it's going to be a normal dirt surface like I'm accustomed to racing on. But nonetheless, it's still going to be dirt, and I think that I should have an advantage. So hopefully, it goes smooth, and I just want it to be a good race. I don't want us to go out here and have a bunch of yellows, and so I'm going to do my part on trying to provide a great show for the fans, and hopefully it's something that is a success.
You're good buddies with Chad Bode, and Chase is jumping in his midget this weekend. What are your expectations, and what have you seen out of Chase since he decided to give dirt a try?
Yeah, I was really curious to watch him at Millbridge there in his first race, and I was blown away by how well he did. His car control was really good. He really did a good job figuring out lines and kind of studying the racetrack and seeing where to be. The Chili Bowl was probably a little bit, I don't know. I expected him to have a better run there, but it's so tough. And he got caught up there in the start of, I think it was his prelim night B feature. And if he doesn't get turned around there, then he has a lot better weeks. So I was really impressed, especially on Saturday of the Chili Bowl. I don't remember what race he was in, but he really started coming on there at the end of his race. And I think, more laps, he's going to be a contender right there with us.
Thank you for your time. Good luck this year.
No problem.
Okay, we're going to take our next question here from Jacob Seelman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Thanks, Amanda, and thank you, Christopher, for taking the time. Kind of following up from Lee's question, obviously we've seen Chase branch out and do more on the short tracks, and particularly more with the midget here of late. We haven't seen you on the dirt tracks yourself very much, aside from the Chili Bowl here of late. Is that more of balancing with the Cup schedule? Is that, maybe shifting your focus elsewhere for a while? I mean, what's the mindset behind that decision, and what do you have planned this year?
Yeah, Jacob, I'd love to do more dirt races coming up, and I feel like everybody knows that I really love dirt, midget, and sprint car racing. So hopefully in the future I get to do some more of it. I definitely took some time off after Phoenix. The West Coast deal, I don't know, with everything going on, I just decided not to go out and do the West Coast races. And then, I ran the shootout in the Chili Bowl this year. So as far as going forward, I'd love to do some more dirt racing. I'm just not entirely sure what my schedule is going to look like.
Whether it's you as a driver or the team, the sprint, the sprint car stuff, how valuable do you view marrying the grassroots and NASCAR, guys like yourself, Larson, Chase, going back and really going back to their roots and making that push to engage and be a part of that with fans and behind the wheel?
Yeah, I think it's really important. And I feel like the disconnect, if there was a disconnect, was guys, whenever they got into NASCAR, that's all they did. And definitely the crossover between any sort of late model racing or sprint car racing and NASCAR racing and kind of doing both of it, I think is great because it keeps both fan bases interested. Whenever you have Chase Elliott going and running the Chili Bowl or going to Ocala this weekend, you have all the NASCAR people watching that style of racing. And now Chase is building a fan base on the dirt side too by doing this, right? So then all the people that's watching him this weekend in Ocala or a couple weeks ago in Tulsa are going to be cheering for him on the Daytona side of it. So I think it's a great crossover, and the more drivers that we can get that runs all the above, then it just helps unify motorsports. And we get, instead of having a dirt group and a pavement group and a NASCAR group and an IMSA group, you just get motorsports fans that tune into everything.
Thank you, buddy. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Mark Guerra with PRN. Go ahead, Mark.
Thank you. Thanks for giving us the time, Christopher. What kind of pressure do you feel moving in-house? I mean, you always, as a race driver, you didn't get here by not putting pressure on yourself to win and succeed. But we've seen young drivers have some success at JGR and still not make the cut. Just what kind of pressure are you feeling going into this?
Yeah. Thank you for your question, Mark. And it's tough. I'm in a difficult position, no doubt about it. But whenever you drive for Joe Gibbs Racing or any top organization, I think the expectations are to be a championship contender. And coach provides all the resources needed to have 4 championship caliber teams. And that's what the goal is. And anything short of that is not good enough. So, this is my first year here. So I don't think that, people are realistically expecting me to compete for a championship this first year, but eventually that needs to be the end goal to have a championship caliber team. And I hope that I'm a championship caliber driver to lead that group.
How important is it for you to get off to a quick start, or do you think you can get off to a fairly quick start to the season and just get the positive vibe rolling for you?
Yeah, so I do think that there are no reasons that there's not a reason out there that I can't compete for wins at Daytona Road Course, Homestead. So I think that we have all the ingredients we need to compete for wins right out of the gate. But on the flip side, I'm definitely not going to be driving at 100% to win those races. Last year I learned or last year I got buried in points by not having a good opening stretch of races. And that's our number one goal, is to see the checkered flags, get to the end, whether that's 10th, 15th, 5th, anywhere, just see the checkered flags and not make mistakes that cost us finishes. So, Adam's been really good about, pushing that we need to build a foundation before we just go out here and start trying for wins. So I think that we have all the tools we need to win really early, but on the flip side, I don't want to make a mistake trying to win too early. I'd like to collect some good finishes and build on that and then compete for wins.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question here from, let's see, Dustin Albino. Go ahead.
Hey, Christopher, I got two on the crew chief front for you. With Adam, how well have you gotten to know him over the offseason?
Yeah, Dustin. So I'd say that we've spent, a decent amount of time together, and it's crazy, man. Whenever we started meeting in November and December, it was kind of, what's your family about? How many kids do you have? Where'd you grow up? And now all of a sudden the conversations have transitioned to, what's going to happen at Daytona? How do you like your cars? Shift lights and all these other, racing terms. And, everything was definitely, it was all getting to know him at the end of last year. And then now it's turned into more business stuff. So, I feel like we've built a decent relationship, and from his personal standpoint, we've built that relationship, but now from a business standpoint, we're going to have to get on track, and I'm going to have to hear him over the radio, and he's going to have to listen to my feedback over the radio and see how that goes.
And then Jason Ratcliffe staying in-house, but you and him have had a lot of success together, whether in Xfinity or even last year in the rookie season. How tough was it seeing him go?
Yeah, it was difficult. I think we both kind of expected to transition to Gibbs together, and then we're not expecting the dramatic change up across the JGR lineup. So it definitely caught us both off guard, and I wish nothing for the best for Jason and Harrison. And Jason was a huge part of my success, and arguably was the reason that I'm here today. So very thankful and grateful to be able to drive for Jason across those years. He's a great person. He's a great crew chief and an even better person. So I love to see him, see a smiling face, and wish him and Harrison the best.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Tucker White. Go ahead, Tucker.
Christopher, as we've seen over the last few seasons, especially last season, the driver who performs best over the course of the season doesn't necessarily make the championship round or even win the championship. Sorry, a little stuck up there. So given how much making the championship round and even win the title is so weighted on luck now, how exactly are the playoffs a good method of deciding a champion, especially when leagues like IndyCar and Formula One decide theirs via a season-long format?
Yeah, Tucker. So that's a good question, and I've been on both sides of the fence. Well, I shouldn't say that, but I've definitely been on the wrong side of the fence for the championship format. You look at my Xfinity seasons between 18 and 19, where I was a championship caliber team week in and week out, and I believe it was in 18. I was on the outside looking in, and we went into Phoenix, which was the last race before the championship race. And if I didn't win Phoenix, I wouldn't have even made the championship four. So, I feel, especially for Harvick, I think he was the guy that got left out this year or in 2020. And I feel for him. And I was almost in that same boat in the Xfinity series. So it's just the name of the game. And you have to grade your season a little bit differently now than you would in years past. If you perform all season long and don't make the championship four, then you can't look at your season as a failure. So and then on the flip side, it gives you time to learn each other, and maybe if you don't perform at the beginning part of the year, and then all of a sudden you start hitting your stride later in the season, you're not out of the championship chase either. So I've seen both sides of I see both sides of the story.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, guys, I was stuck on mute. We are going to take our next question from Davey Siegel. Go ahead, Davey.
Hey, Christopher, just curious to get your thoughts on what you think NASCAR has done well and what you think they could maybe improve upon so far in terms of the preparation of Bristol for the dirt race when it comes to packing the dirt on the surface, the race format, removal of safer barriers, all that good stuff?
Yeah, Davey. So honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I haven't really been able to keep up with the dirt process, but I think they have a race coming up that we should learn a lot about in March before we get there. But I think this has been a huge undertaking for them to prepare a concrete or asphalt track, either or, and put dirt on it for a Cup Series event. So this is a massive undertaking from NASCAR standpoint, and I applaud them for doing it and taking it on. I am a little bit concerned about the afternoon start time and the race length and race distance. It has the possibility to be sunny outside, and dirt racing is primarily held at night, just for the reason that the track stays a lot more consistent and raceable during nighttime conditions. So it'll be interesting to see how the afternoon race and the race length plays out.
And also curious in terms of your relationship with Eric Jones, the guy who you're replacing. I know it can be kind of awkward in circumstances like this. Obviously, he's going to a new team this year. Have you guys had any contact throughout the offseason in terms of, maybe just straightening things over if there was any weird blood, not bad blood necessarily?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there is a little bit of weird blood, but definitely no bad blood. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Eric, and it's unfortunate that my time at Gibbs came at his expense. So I definitely didn't want that. He is a guy that I look up to and kind of followed in his footsteps, so to speak, through the KBM late models and trucks, and then over to Gibbs. So I think Eric is a tremendous race car driver, and I wish nothing but success for him. And I have all the respect in the world for him.
Cool. Thanks, Christopher.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Marty with ROC Sports. Go ahead, Marty.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, Christopher. Hope you're doing well, man. I want to keep those dirt shoes on a little bit because I know you'll race anywhere on dirt, and this is nothing against SMI. But with the dirt experience you've had, are you a little bit kind of maybe surprised to say that of all the tracks NASCAR and SMI chose, they chose Bristol when SMI could have chosen a track like Charlotte dirt track, Texas, or even Las Vegas or Eldora?
Yeah, it's I thought that Bristol dirt was amazing whenever the Outlaws did it back in the early 2000s, and that was kind of it was a marquee event that was really really cool to witness. But it's unfortunate that it came at the expense of such a great venue and great race for the NASCAR side of things. I think everybody in the industry loved both Bristol races, the night race and the spring race. So I love Bristol concrete, and the dirt race is going to be it should be good for me because I have dirt experience, and I should have an advantage going there. But it's just a shame that it came at the expense of such an awesome a short track event. So maybe in the future we'll be able to get back to 2 Bristol concrete races and then add a dirt race in there at the expense of another venue or whatever. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to say the least.
Looking at the 500 now, the big one, not a matter of if, matter of when these past few Daytona 500s. I know you were near the front in the regulation, the final few laps of things last year, and to miss the big one, I've been talking with a lot of drivers about it this week. They want to be in the front, but they've said that no spot is really safe. So where do you want to be to possibly miss the big one, or do you think that no spot is safe after all?
Yeah, I mean, definitely if you lose the draft, that's probably the safest spot, but nobody wants to do that. And then you run a risk of getting a lap down. So, we've seen it time and time again where the guys racing for the lead will get together and wreck, racing first, second, or third, and then, catch the whole field behind them. So I just think that you got to go out there and do what you think is best. If you think your car's handling good and you're able to drive up to the front, definitely leading the race is probably the safest spot to be. But like I said, we've seen guys wreck for the lead too. So, it's just kind of out of your hands, and you got to race the cards that are dealt to you.
Thanks for your time, man. Have a great Speed Weeks.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question here from Eric Smith. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah, thank you. Christopher, I was just curious with your dirt racing background, how much did that translate to your trucks and Xfinity success? And how much did you maybe have to change the driving style with the Cup car last year, having more downforce compared to what you're used to?
Yeah, Eric. So it was, I would say, dirt racing really prepared me for, I would say it made me good at raw speed. And it seems like going fast hasn't really been my issue. But one thing that, at least my style of dirt racing that I did, is it didn't prepare me for distance races. And that's been the hardest part each step along the way, whether that was late models or moving into trucks and then moving into Xfinity. The races have just gotten longer and longer and longer. And then now the Cup races are sometimes twice the length of the Xfinity races that I just got done doing. So the distance racing part has been the difficult part, making sure that you can complete 500 mile races and have a car that's in peace. So I haven't really done a great job of that over the course of last year. And I got to make sure that I'm seeing the checkered flags with all my fenders on the car. So that's something that I'm really focused on this year is limiting my mistakes, making sure I have a clean car at the end of the race. And yeah, I mean, as far as the downforce side of things, the Xfinity cars probably fit my driving style or my driving background, I guess, a little bit more than what the trucks and the Cup cars did. I would say that the Cup cars are really similar to the trucks. And so they do relate a little bit in that standpoint, and it took me a little bit to get adjusted to that.
And saying that, have you maybe talked to Kyle about maybe wanting to do a little truck racing to maybe help that kind of repetition for this year, maybe even next?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely running trucks on the 1.5 miles with the high downforce package is the thing that relates the most. So I would love to do some truck races in the future. I can't say that there's been conversations about it, but it's definitely something that I would love to do. And Toyota knows that I would like to do that as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris. Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Anton with ASN Media. Go ahead, Anton.
Thanks, Amanda. Good afternoon, Christopher. It goes without saying that Joe Gibbs Racing is a highly competitive team, and it always seeks for a championship or great results either in the Xfinity Series or the Cup Series. Do you think that entering the playoffs in your first season in the Joe Gibbs Racing team is a necessity?
Hi, Anton. I would say, yeah, it's a necessity. And if I don't make the playoffs this year, that's not going to be ideal. That's for sure. I don't know what the results of that will be, but I don't want to find that out. So I think we have all the tools necessary to make the playoffs, and that's for sure a big goal. So if you make the playoffs, typically you've been running well. Either you've won a race or you're running exceptional in points to get there. So yeah, I mean, making the playoffs is a big deal for us.
Thanks. Wishing you all the best for this season.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to take our next question from Mitchell Brewer. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Christopher, what would you say you learned from your first season in Cup that you think you can carry over into this season and future seasons?
Hi, Mitchell. So I would say the biggest thing that I've learned is just the experience from distance racing. And, I mentioned that earlier in the call, but, it's a big deal going from Xfinity races, which are 300 miles at the longest and short tracks are shorter. And then you go to Cup racing, which you have 400 miles, 400 miles all the time. You got a couple 500-mile races, and then you have the Coke 600. So the distance part is a big difference, and learning how to run all those miles without making one mistake and getting into the wall and knocking the fender in on the tire and cutting a cut tire or hitting somebody. It's just, so gaining that knowledge, that experience of, if we're on lap 200 out of 325, then you don't need to push very hard, or you don't need to push extra to get 10th spot or whatever. So just the on-track knowledge of and experience of doing it is the biggest thing that I'm going to take away from LFR to JGR.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Jim Utter. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Christopher. If I remember correctly, early in your Xfinity career, you did not give yourself much credit for being a road course racer, and talked and talked about the struggles you had to become a good road course racer. So now in Cup, we're moving to, I think, 7 road course races this season, 6 before you even get to the playoffs. What's your thinking on that? Do you feel yourself much more comfortable as a road course racer now, given the experience that you got in Xfinity?
So, Jim, I don't think that I don't think I'm where I need to be as a road course racer yet, but I have grown to enjoy it a lot more than what I did in the past. And it's quite the challenge, and that's what makes it so enjoyable. And actually, if you look back at the 2 road course races that we did last year, my finishes weren't very good, but as far as raw speed, those were 2 of my better races over the course of the year. So I'm actually especially looking forward to going to Road America. It's a place where I was able to win an Xfinity Series race. Austin will be kind of it's a new venue for everybody, and nobody really is going to have an advantage going there. So I'm excited about going to Austin. Sonoma is going to be tough because I've never been there, and a lot of guys have a lot of laps there, but it's going to be a fun road course. So I look at the road courses as a challenge, and I enjoy doing it now, which is a change of pace from a couple of years ago.
How much is the change in like attitude do you think makes, how big a difference does that make? Because I've heard other drivers say the same thing. They went in with the attitude like, I just hate road course races, and you're going to be bad then. But if you can try to adjust a little bit on the attitude, sometimes it even transforms into your performance.
Yeah, I'd say so. And you look at the way races go too, right? So you have guys that get crashed out all the time in speedway racing, and they don't like speedway racing. And the guys that, have more fortunate, I hate using the word luck, but are more fortunate or better at it, they enjoy it. So, definitely as I've gotten better at road racing, I've enjoyed it more. Imagine that. And, yeah, so it's definitely it's all the above, a change of attitude and getting better at it and just embracing it.
Thanks, Christopher.
No problem.
Okay, we're going to go to Garrett, and then Lee, feel free to ask your follow-up after Garrett.
Hey, Christopher, thanks for taking the time today. The number 20 car has not won the Daytona 500 since 1961 with Marvin Panch. What would it mean to be the guy that takes that iconic NASCAR number back to victory lane at Daytona?
61, you said?
Yeah, 1961. I didn't know that off the top of my head.
So that would be like 60 years ago, right?
Rough math, yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's a long time. So, and it would be the first one of my life too. So, it would be really, really special to win the Daytona 500, regardless of car number. But yeah, it's a big one. It's probably, P1 in motorsports, arguably. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to sit here and think about it, because it's such a big event, but I'll have a shot. I'm competing in the Daytona 500. So I'm really thankful for that. And hopefully I can do a good job and have a shot at it come closing time.
Yeah. Thanks. Good luck.
Be careful with your references to 61, kiddo.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Real quick, is there any driver that you have raced against on dirt that you would like to see attempt Bristol?
Yes, absolutely. He goes by Rico.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to see Rico Avery do it.
That's all I had. I appreciate your time, man. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, Christopher, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for just giving us as much time as you did, and we wish you the best of luck in the Daytona 500 next week.
Yeah, thank you guys. Can't wait to see you guys in the media center soon.
All right. Have a great Friday.
Bye.